It's Monday, and here we go again. Hunter Biden about to leave the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. The jury has been selected, and opening statements start tomorrow as his criminal gun trial kicks off. Hunter is charged with 3 felony counts related to allegedly lying on a federal gun form back in 2018. He could be facing up to 25 years in jail. Hunter getting a show of public support from his family. His stepmother, First Lady Jill Biden, appearing in court today. This weekend, President Biden was at his beach house, spending part of the day biking with Hunter. The New York Times claims he's expected to speak daily with his son. And today, President Biden released this statement saying, as the president, I don't and won't comment on pending federal cases. But as a dad, I have boundless love for my son, confidence in him, and respect for his strength. It's not the first time that Biden has said something about his son's legal problems.
Sir, there is something personal that's affecting you. Your son, while there's no ties to you, could be charged by your Department of Justice. How will that impact your presidency?
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
The trial of Hunter Biden will be a serious test for the Democrats who claim that no one is above the law. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is already defending Biden's comment that Hunter did nothing wrong.
President Biden commented as a loving father, as I would hope any loving father would do. And this Justice Department is going to proceed in that fashion, present the facts in the law, and then we'll all have to wait for a determination that is made by a jury as to Hunter Biden's guilt or innocence.
Okay, Judge, let's weigh in here. Maybe just start there, but you could go wherever you want, of course. But with Hakeem Jeffries saying that, like, he's okay with Biden saying that as a dad.
Yeah.
But as the commander-in-chief and leader of the Justice Department, really, I mean, not the AG, but he's the chief enforcement officer.
Well, you know, if he did nothing wrong, then why was he about to enter into a plea deal with Judge Noriega? And even the judge said the plea deal was so wrong, she couldn't accept the plea deal. But you know what I think? I think that this is a very solid case. But I also think that venue has a lot to do with things, as you well know, Dana. I mean, on the one hand, you bring a Republican into Manhattan where the jury pool is very anti-Trump, and you bring a Democrat into Delaware where the jury is very pro-Biden. You know, and it's kind of interesting that Jill Biden went in during jury selection. You know, it's kind of like a mob tactic to kind of stare down the jury. Although I'm sure she didn't mean anything like that. But, you know, the jury selection is a strange time to come into court. But I want people to understand one thing, that this isn't just an illegal gun case. You know, we see them all the time and people get away with them all the time. This is a guy who went in and lied on a pistol permit application. He lied to the guy he was buying it from. And of course, he took possession of it while he was engaged in the use of illegal drugs and narcotics. But so it's not just gun possession. It's not just the use of the gun. It's a use of the gun when you're surrounded by drugs. You know, it's perjury on a felony affirmation. And so it's not just illegal gun possession. It's so much more than that. It's so many more steps. It's Hallie Biden, his brother's widow, that he's dating and uploading all kinds of pornographic images of the two of them, who throws out the gun allegedly because she's concerned about his drug use and his possibility of having a gun. I don't know what happened, Dana. Do you remember when they first said that the Secret Service got the gun from the garbage can across the street after Hallie threw it away? All of a sudden, I'm looking through all the notes, guys. There's no mention of Secret Service. But in any event, that's just about it. It'll be an interesting case.
It's like a homeless guy had, or I don't know if he's homeless, but an elderly guy who went through the trash regularly. Right. He was the one that ultimately found it, though the Secret Service. I remember that, too. They were trying to find it.
Hunter blamed it on Mexicans. Let's not forget that.
And also, isn't part of his defense that you can't blame me for not marking it down incorrectly because I was a drug addict.
Yes.
It's like the Menendez brothers complaining about being orphans.
That is true. I love how they say, you know, Joe is a loving father. So is Trump. But it doesn't matter. Didn't matter there, doesn't matter this. But you will see this narrative of sympathy ramp up, a father struggling with his son's addiction, the son dealing with grief through his addiction, but now he's embarking on recovery. And the media is all in on this because they always pick and choose the victims, and the victims are always the criminal. I am conflicted on this because there are two things that men will lie about: sex and drugs. So I understand Trump with the sex worker, and I understand lying on the gun application. There are a lot of guys out there that shoot tin cans on a fence while, drinking a beer and smoking a joint. But he is, like the judge says, the worst example of a gun owner, parading it around, in a drug den among criminal elements, from dealers to hookers, and he's not even wearing a holster. There's no place to put that gun. Here's a guy, this is a case of a guy who should not be having a gun, but he had a gun because no one says no to Hunter. And this is why, I'm conflicted, because I look at the charges and I go, everybody lies. But Trump was charged and convicted because of who he was. Hunter got away with everything for decades because of who he was. It's a stark contrast between how an outsider, a person like Trump, who's not in the corridors of political power, gets treated versus the insular creature of the political machine, a member of the Biden family. And they tried to protect Hunter. Man, that guy used more life preservers than the Lusitania. The laptop denial, 51 experts, all of them still kept their security clearances. That definitely helps them out. I wonder if there's a connection there. So and one more thing. Forget it. That's good.
But those are some great things. Jesse, we'll let you pick it up from there.
Well, this was the kind of slam dunk case you could have reasonably brought against someone like Donald Trump. You have a weapon that tested positive for cocaine. You have 3 eyewitnesses. You have the defendant confessing. You have video evidence, a smoking gun document. But instead, they bring a case against Trump for a $130,000 NDA. Meanwhile, Congress has over 100 NDAs totaling $17 million. No one in Congress was charged with campaign finance violations. It's because their names aren't Trump. And Janine, you are right. This venue is insane. This is Newcastle County. The name is fitting. It might as well be a castle with Joe Biden as the king. This is small town politics at its finest. One of the jurors today said, you can't swing a cat around here and not have everybody find out about it. You don't go to jury selection. The Trump family didn't go to jury selection. The whole Biden clan goes to jury selection, and they're not sitting silently like this. They're making faces. They're whispering. They're smirking. They're making a scene in front of the jury. I mean, and you already have witness tampering allegations against Joe Biden for visiting one of the witnesses the weekend before, and now this. But I'm sick of people saying, if you're a drug addict, you get a get out of jail free card. Doing drugs is a decision, and it's also a decision to quit. You can kick the habit if you want, and Hunter Biden had all of the resources in the world to do that, and he didn't. And now his defense is that he's not accountable for anything he did for 7 years because he was on drugs. You can't say that. You cannot have that as the defense, while at the same time, you see Hunter living right now, at the same time they're saying for 7 years he was such an acclaimed Yale-educated lawyer on the board of international gas companies, wheeling and dealing with Chinese tycoons. He was in control of his life there. But then every time he was breaking the law, he was not in control of his life, and he was a helpless victim of a disease. No. And Joe Biden, the tragic thing, was the one pushing his son while he was addicted to crack cocaine, pushing his son to rake in money to spend it on the rest of the family. But I don't think he's going to get sentenced to prison. He probably shouldn't get sentenced to prison. And if he does, his father will pardon him.
Harold Ford with the last word.
Good to see everybody and good to be back around the table. I've said all along, when anyone is ever accused of anything, they're innocent till proven guilty. And certainly Mr. Biden, Hunter Biden, deserves that, as President Trump and every defendant in the country deserves. I would counter just a little bit with my friends, the judge and Jesse. The prosecution brought the case in Delaware, so they knew what they were dealing with. It wasn't as if the defense chose to bring a case against themselves in Delaware. I think the idea of the family showing up, I differ with you on that a little bit too. I I hope never to be in a position of having to be in a courtroom, but I've certainly faced hardship in my life, and my family has always been there for me. And I'm not surprised by this. One thing you did not hear today from Hunter Biden or Joe Biden or Joe Biden were any words about the judge. The judge, who I might add, was appointed by President Trump. She is known to have given money to Tom Cotton and to Mitt Romney. I think she will be fair. I have no reason to believe that she won't uphold the oath of office that she took. And as you rightly pointed out, he's a lawyer, Hunter Biden. He knows what's at stake here. If the facts and the evidence prove that he filled out this registration knowingly, whatever the standard, I don't mean to be trying to be flippant, but whatever the standard is, and the judge would know better than all of us, and he lied on that form, then he will likely be convicted. And one other thing I didn't hear any of them say was that they would not accept the outcome of whatever the jury here decides. I was surprised, and I was curious the judge's reaction to this, that that jury was seated in less than a day. I would have thought with the high-profile nature, normally this kind of trial, you could probably seat a jury in a half a day or just in the morning before lunch. But with the attention around this case, it is surprising, or at least surprising on my end, that they seated the jury so quickly. And for those who, again, think that it was wrong to have the First Lady show up, who was his stepmom, we remember President Trump had every right to have Speaker Johnson and others show up in support of him. So I would imagine we may see other people show up during this trial as well. But the bottom line is, if the prosecution proves that he did what they said he did, he'll have to live with the outcome of this.
The other reason she might have gone today is because she and the president are leaving for Normandy to observe the D-Day celebration on Thursday. Yeah. So it could be. We don't know. We'll maybe find out.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.